Have you ever felt a little bit alone, like you were on this journey of faith, and maybe, just maybe, you were walking a path less traveled? Well, let me tell you, friend, those feelings, those moments, they're not anything to fear. In fact, they might just be the biggest blessing in disguise. You see, sometimes, God calls us to walk alone for a little while. It's in those quiet moments, those times when it's just us and Him, that something incredible happens. We draw closer to Him. We discover a strength we never knew we had, and we emerge, my friend, stronger, more faithful, and more ready than ever to fulfill the amazing purpose He has planned for our lives. So, if you're feeling a little isolated today, I want you to lift your head high and know that you are not alone. God is right there with you, every step of the way, preparing you for something truly extraordinary. In this video, we're going to explore 9 divine reasons why God isolates His chosen ones. Before we continue, please take a moment right now to subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you. Also, if you're in need of a Bible or if you'd like a quality t-shirt with inspiring faith-based messaging, please check out the links in the description. Now let's get into 9 reasons God isolates His chosen ones. The first reason God isolates His chosen ones is to refine their character. Think about a master sculptor chipping away at a block of stone. They see the potential, the masterpiece hidden within, long before it's visible to the naked eye. In much the same way, God sees the greatness within each and every one of us. He sees the leader, the teacher, the beacon of hope that we're destined to become. And sometimes, my friend, the chisel He uses to shape us, to refine us, is isolation. During these periods of solitude, away from the distractions and demands of the world, we're able to focus on our relationship with Him. We can hear His voice more clearly, understand His will more fully, and develop the strength and resilience needed to carry out His plan. It's like a boot camp for the spirit, you see, a time to build up our spiritual muscles, to sharpen our skills, and to prepare for the incredible tasks He has in store for us. Because when God calls you to a greater purpose, He equips you for the journey. He wouldn't ask you to climb a mountain without giving you the strength and the tools to reach the summit. Now, if you're like many of us on this journey of life, you might be trying to consider your purpose. And because you rightly feel that it's likely based on your strengths, you might be thinking, what if I don't know what my strengths are? That leads us to God's second reason for isolating His chosen ones, to help them discover their strengths. So if you feel lost and unsure, that's precisely why isolation can be such a blessing. It's in those quiet moments when we're alone with our thoughts and with God that we can truly discover who we are and what we're capable of. Think about Moses, alone in the desert, tending his flock. It was there in the stillness of isolation that God called out to him, revealing His destiny as the leader who would deliver His people. Or consider David, a shepherd boy, spending his days in solitude, playing his harp and composing songs of praise. Little did he know that those solitary moments were preparing him to become a mighty king. You see, my friend, God uses isolation to draw out the hidden talents and abilities within us. It's a time for self-discovery, a time to explore our passions, and to listen to that still, small voice within, guiding us towards our true calling. So embrace those moments of solitude. Don't be afraid to delve deep within yourself and discover the incredible strengths and potential that lies dormant within. Once we've undergone that refining process, once we've discovered our strengths and heard God's call on our lives, we're ready to step out in faith and fulfill our purpose. And let me tell you, my friend, the world needs what you have to offer. This is why God's third reason for isolating His chosen ones is to lead you to your purpose. The world needs your unique gifts, your compassionate heart, and your unwavering faith. It needs the lessons you've learned during your season of isolation, the strength you've gained, and the wisdom you've gleaned. Remember, you were created for such a time as this. You were chosen, set apart, and prepared for a purpose that only you can fulfill. So walk boldly into the future, knowing that God is with you every step of the way. Embrace the journey, my friend, and let your light shine brightly for all the world to see. When we're surrounded by the noise and distractions of the world, it can be easy to lose sight of what truly matters. Our connection with God can become strained, our faith weakened by doubt and uncertainty. As such, the fourth reason God isolates His chosen ones is to allow you to develop a closer relationship or connection with Him. When we're isolated, when the world fades away and it's just us and Him, something beautiful happens. Our hearts become more attuned to His voice. We begin to experience His presence more profoundly and to feel His love more deeply. It's like tuning out the static on a radio, allowing us to hear the clear, sweet melody of His love song for us. In the quiet solitude, we find ourselves drawn to prayer, to meditation, and to spending time in His Word. These practices, which might have felt like obligations before, now become sources of comfort, strength, and joy. We begin to crave those moments of intimacy with our Creator and to cherish the peace that surpasses all understanding. Now you might be wondering, how can I deepen my faith when I'm feeling lost and alone? Well, my friend, that question leads us to the fifth reason God isolates His chosen ones, to help them develop unwavering trust in Him. This process is where the real growth happens. It's in those moments of vulnerability, when we're stripped of our earthly supports and forced to rely solely on God, that our faith is truly tested and refined. Think about the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They were thrown into a fiery furnace for refusing to bow down to a false god. They faced their fears head-on, declaring, "Our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and He will deliver us out of your hand, O King." Their faith wasn't based on their circumstances, it was rooted in the unshakable knowledge of who God is. And you know what? Even though they were surrounded by flames, God was right there with them, protecting them and proving His power. Their faith emerged from the fire stronger than ever before, a testament to the unwavering faithfulness of our God. Think about a butterfly, my friends. It spends a period of its life hidden away in a cocoon, seemingly isolated and alone. But what's happening during that time is nothing short of miraculous. It's undergoing a complete transformation, emerging stronger and more beautiful than before. That's what God wants for us in our times of isolation. As such, the sixth reason God isolates His chosen ones is to allow them to emerge stronger, wiser, and more resilient. He wants us to spread our wings and fly, embracing the fullness of His plan for our lives. So if you're feeling isolated right now, don't despair. Embrace this time for reflection, for growth, for transformation. Allow God to work in the depths of your heart and mind. He's preparing you for something amazing, something beyond your wildest dreams. Remember, you are not alone in this journey. God is with you every step of the way, guiding you, strengthening you, and empowering you to rise above any challenge. Now it's easy to rely on ourselves, on our own strength, our own understanding, when we're surrounded by people and things that make us feel secure. But when those things are stripped away, when we're in isolation, we're forced to confront our own limitations. And that, my friends, is where true faith begins. So my friends, letting go of worldly support and relying on God is the seventh reason God isolates His chosen ones. It's in those moments of vulnerability, when we realize that we can't do it on our own, that we open ourselves up to God's power in a whole new way. We begin that our security, our hope, our strength doesn't come from the things of this world, but from the One who created it all. We learn to let go of our need to control everything and surrender to the One who holds our future in His hands. It's a humbling process for sure, but it's also incredibly freeing, because when we let go of our own way of doing things and embrace God's way, we open ourselves up to a whole new level of peace, joy, and purpose. Think about it, when there's a lot of noise and distractions around us, it's hard to hear anything, even God's voice. But when we're in isolation, when the noise of the world fades away, we create a space for His voice to resonate in our hearts. Therefore, the eighth reason God isolates His chosen ones is help them become more attuned to His whispers, His guidance, and His loving reassurance. We begin to see His hand at work in our lives, even in the midst of challenging circumstances. And as we learn to trust His voice, to follow His lead, even when it doesn't make sense to our human understanding, we experience the truth of Proverbs 3, verses 5 to 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight. It's in those moments of complete surrender, when we place our trust fully in Him, that we experience the fullness of His power and provision. When we're going through seasons of isolation, it can be easy to feel forgotten, like God is distant or doesn't care about our situation, but the truth is, He's closer than we realize. He never leaves us, nor forsakes us, even when we can't feel his presence. And it's during these times that he often chooses to show himself strong on our behalf. And that, my friends, is the 9th reason that God isolates his chosen ones, to allow them to experience his faithfulness. He provides for our needs in miraculous ways. He sends people to encourage us, and he pours out his peace that surpasses all understanding. Remember the story of Elijah in 1 Kings chapter 19? He was exhausted, afraid, and feeling very alone. But God met him in his time of need, providing him with food, rest, and a renewed sense of purpose. God will do the same for you, my friend. He sees your heart, he knows your needs, and he promises to be your source of strength and provision no matter what you're facing. Friends, as we've explored these 9 divine reasons why God might choose isolation for his chosen, remember that it's not about being passive or withdrawing from the world entirely. It's about using this time intentionally to draw closer to God, to grow in our faith, and to emerge stronger and more equipped to fulfill our God-given purpose. Remember, you are never truly alone. God is with you always, and he has incredible plans for your life. Trust in his timing, lean on his strength, and watch as he does amazing things in and through you. If you're feeling led to deepen your faith during this time, you can find links to faith-based resources in the description below. And hey, if you need a Bible to help guide you on your walk with God, or maybe you'd like a faith-themed t-shirt to remind you of his promises, just click the links below. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an inspiring message. Let's share these words of hope and encouragement with others who might be feeling isolated or alone. If you have a prayer request, a praise report, or a testimony, kindly leave them in the comment section below so that we or someone in our amazing community can pray for you or rejoice with you about how God has blessed you. And as we conclude, remember, a little faith can go a long way. Now go out there and be a blessing. And don't forget to subscribe and share this message with your loved ones. Let's spread the light of faith together. Thanks for watching, God bless you, and see you in our next video.